This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 652. How would you help this coworker? By Ramit Sethi of I'llTeachYouToBeRich.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Welcome, old friend. OLD, or OLD, stands for Optimal Living Daily, and this is where I simply narrate blogs and books for you for free. Today's post comes from Ramit Sethi, but before we get to it, today's show is sponsored by Talkspace, the online therapy company that lets you choose from over 1,500 licensed therapists. Get matched with your perfect therapist who can put you on the path to a happier life. For a special offer just for our listeners, visit Talkspace.com/OLD. Let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. How would you help this coworker? By Ramit Sethi of I'llTeachYouToBeRich.com. Years ago, I needed to help a coworker finish a project that, number one, he was leading, number two, would help my team. Sure, I said, just find me tomorrow and I'll show you how to do it. Well, tomorrow came and went, and he never found me. Later, when he was asked about the project, he just sighed and said it didn't get done. Then he turned to me and asked if I could help him later with the project. Dude, you were supposed to find me, I told him sharply. I know, he said. I was busy. Sometimes if you want someone to do something, you have to go above and beyond. So I exploded. Listen, if you need my help, you need to find me, not the other way around. Then he said something I'll never forget. Technically, you're right, but you have to decide if you want to be right or if you want this to get done. So that got me thinking, is he right? Should my stake in the project have dictated how I should have handled the situation? Or was my friend just being a jack? I thought I knew the right answer, but I wanted to put it to my readers first. What would you have done in this situation? The answers I got back were insightful and funny. I want to share a few of them with you today and tell you what I think I should have done. Coworker help advice number 1. Hindsight is a bitch. Andre says, quote, I believe hindsight is a bitch. Knowing now what happened, it is easy to formulate a what would I have done theory. So what I would have done is, when the coworker approached me asking for help, I would try to schedule a specific time to meet and discuss the project needs and what to do, maybe add to the calendar. People seem to be always so busy all the time. Unless something's actually added to a calendar and shared with the other people involved, the task will be forgotten. Unless, of course, you really need it done, then that falls on you to follow up, unquote. Ha, I love it. Hindsight is 20/20. But you can still learn a thing or two by looking back though, which is why I love Andre's calendar suggestion. IWT readers know that my days are dictated by what is and what isn't on my calendar. Having this task on my calendar after he asked would have saved us both a lot of frustration later on. Coworker help advice number 2, take the initiative. Ed Baxter says, quote, it depends on the context, but if it's a low-key one-on-one talk, then he's right. He doesn't need to hear about how important you are that he comes and finds you. If it was that important to him, he would have found you. But since it benefits your team, definitely take the initiative and bug him about it to get up the priority list. In the end, it's his project to manage and his on the line, with the side benefit of having it help you and your projects. The correct response would be, I've been available and am still available. Let's set up a time and place, unquote. When my coworker first told me that I had to go above and beyond to help him out, I was pissed. While I was infuriating, I think Ed is right in saying I should have taken the initiative and brought up the meeting. After all, my team was benefiting from this project as much as my coworker was. Bottom line, sometimes to learn how to be a better coworker, you have to pick up some of the slack yourself. Coworker help advice number 3, set up boundaries. Dave Grant says, quote, I'm going to disagree with most of the posts here. If your colleague was leading the project, then it was up to him to have a timeline and determine all the resources that he needed. If he found that he hadn't prepared well enough, or if something unexpected came up, then asking for the help of team members would have become necessary. However, if you ask for help and someone tells you they are available, but you don't take the initiative to find them the next day, you are at fault. There are repercussions to not following through. If I was in your shoes and there are things that I had to do, I would have politely told them that my available time was yesterday, not now. I now have other things to take care of and don't have any available time today. By setting boundaries like this, you encourage people to respect your time and input, unquote. I love it. There's no limit to how much money you can earn, but there is a finite amount of time you have to spend. As such, your time is incredibly valuable. Why would you want to waste it on someone who forgets their appointments with you? Clearly, they don't value your time or understand that it's important. Coworker help advice number 4. He's being a but that's not the point. Brendan says, quote, I'd be pissed off, but it sounds like you're the one who was more concerned with getting it done than him. It sounds like you're the one who needed it done because it would have benefited your team. In this case, the fact that he's being a is irrelevant. Seek him out, force his hand, and get it done. 95% of people are sheep, even if they are nominally quote-unquote leading, unquote. I agree. It's my duty as a leader for my team to go out and make sure that the guy got his project finished. Even if he's in the wrong, and he is, I should have taken more initiative in seeing the project through. That way I could help in supporting my colleagues in the workplace. Coworker help advice number 5, tell him to f*** off. Joe says, quote, tell him to f*** off, unquote. Simple, honest, to the point. I love it. Though I'm sure there's a more nuanced response out there. What I should have done to help my coworker. Like many readers said, hindsight can be incredibly enlightening. That's why I would have taken measures to ensure a situation like this never happened in the first place through habit-building systems. My favorite one? Using my calendar. I practically dictate my day-to-day goals by one mantra. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. It might seem anal retentive. It might seem absolutely crazy, but it works. Instead of letting my friend come find me, I would have scheduled time in my day to work with him. That way, when the notification came up on my calendar, I knew to go remind him that I was going to help him go through the project. Don't get me wrong, it was still incredibly frustrating to hear my friend say that I should have reached out to him, but in the end, my team benefited from it, and my company would have as well. Sometimes your worst enemy is your ego. You have to leave it at the door if you want to be able to effectively accomplish your goals. Advanced tip, you can set up weekly, monthly, and quarterly to-dos for things like reviewing your systems, planning an annual negotiation, or even checking in on your relationship. You just listened to the post titled, How Would You Help This Coworker? By Ramit Sethi of I'llTeachYouToBeRich.com. And big thanks again to my sponsor for today's episode, Talkspace. Talkspace is the online therapy company that makes it easy to connect with an experienced, licensed therapist that you pick based on your preferences, and it's way cheaper than traditional therapy. Plus, you don't have to drive to an office and wait in the lobby. You can send your therapist audio messages, video messages, or even text messages. I love those options. Or if you're up for it, do a live video chat. Talkspace therapists are fully licensed and go through a rigorous screening process, plus have thousands of hours of supervised professional training. So to match with your perfect therapist, head on over to Talkspace.com/old. As a special bonus just for you, you can use the code OLD to get $30 off your first month and show support for this podcast. That's the code OLD, and you can use that at Talkspace.com/old. That should do it for today. Happy Saturday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.